Alright, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD, or Application and Website Development Program, and in particular the AWD 1111.NET Framework with Web Databases class, I've been doing a series of video presentations based on the book we'll be using for this class for the fall 2019 semester. As you can see on the screen, the book is Pro ASP.NET MVC 5, an A-Press text by Adam Freeman. I have been in Chapter 11 for quite a while now, and I've been having problems. I had problems updating my edit.cs HTML file. What I had to do to get this to work, and it took quite a while, is I had to remove this. Right here. In fact, let's try it again. I got it working, so there's a part of me that hates to even try this, but I'm going to put it back in there anyway. Well, okay, but I made a bunch of different changes here and there, but now it's back pretty much to the way they showed it in the text. So let's see if indeed this works. I don't want to start on my edit page. I want to start it on my index page. View that in the browser. And then when I go to my edit page, you can see what it says. So I can go in and make changes now. All right, so I've got that going for me. All right. There was a unit test on pages 291 and 292 that I skipped. This confirmation message, let's try to change this to only one person and save. Kayak has been saved. See that? So we do get that message. You can see. Change it back again. We get the message. Okay, that's looking good. I now have all the pieces in place to edit products. To see how it works, well, I just showed you that on 293. The message will disappear if you reload the product screen. Okay. All right, now we have to add some model validation here. So I am on page 294 of the text. Adding model validation. As is the case for most products, I need to add validation rules to the model entity. At the moment, the administrator could enter negative prices or blank descriptions, and the sports score would at least try to put in that data. Whether or not the bad data would be stored would depend on whether it conformed to constraints in the table definition. Listing 1113 shows how I applied annotations to the product class. All right, so let's go back here and let's just grab the entire product class. In fact, we're going to grab this because we want the using statement in there as well. So we want to go to the products.cs file, which is, I believe, inside of my... There we go. So we're going to change that so it looks like this. All right. So we've got product ID displaying equal false, product name being required, the description being multi-line with enter a description, the price has to be a minimum of a penny. We don't have any maximum in there. All right. And so all fields are required. Let's put it that way. So let's do an edit. Oops, I'm sorry. A file, save all. The HTML.text box and HTML.text area helper methods that were used in the view to create the things will be used by the MVC framework to signal validation problems. All right. So we have to add validation messages to the edit.cs HTML file, it looks like. And that's just a line of code. So we want to bring in again the edit.cs HTML file, which is not here. It's down here. All right, and right down near the, let's see, we're by the div here. We've got an if, we've got an else, and really this is terrible as far as the way it looks. An if else, no, I guess it's not too bad. All right, because that's if the I'm looking right here. This is adding validation messages to the edit.cs HTML file. What I am going to do is, for some reason, this looks very different. In here, in the div class, the panel body, to the end of the div. Right there, right before the footer. So I'm going to take and grab all of this, and I'm going to comment it out. All right. Then I'm going to come in and, as shown on the bottom of 294 and the top of 295, again, as always, don't worry that this looks incorrect right now, because this is over a couple pages. Wow. This is why I hate making changes like this, just so you're aware of that. It almost looks as though I did not grab everything in here and copy it in. Let's check. According to that, I did. Okay, I don't normally do it this way, but this is what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to grab that panel body that's in here, take it from, remove everything that's in here. Oops. All right, so that's what was it there, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in. I'm going to grab everything from the book that was on the previous page on the bottom of 294. I'm going to copy it to the clipboard, and I'm going to add it here. All right. Then I'm going to go to the next page. I'm going to grab the rest of it, and I'm going to add it below that. Looks like that div goes here. This is the end of my if. It goes here. There's the end of my for each, and there's the end of that. Now, I'm really and truly hoping I didn't make any mistakes. All right, so let's grab this. Let's come back into our code right here. Paste it in. All right, that was my problem. Go. All right. Not showing me any errors right now, which is always a good thing. File, save all. In Chapter 9, the author says they used a validation summary helper method to create a consolidated list. In this listing, we're using the validation message helper, which displays a message for each single error. All right, so let's save this. File, save all. I'm just trying to replicate what is in the textbook here. So I'm going to right mouse click on my index.cshtml, view that in the browser. Then I'm going to click on one of these, doesn't matter, corner flags. I'm going to remove everything that's in here. In every field, remember they're all required. And I'm going to click Save. Object reference not set. So it's giving me an error message. That's not what I was hoping for. What I was hoping for was that, I'm sorry, let's go back. I should be following the doggone instructions that are in here. So let's go in here. Let's go back. All right. We'll click Human Chessboard. Keep that in there, but we're going to remove this. We're going to make this a bad number. And we're going to make this empty. Then we're going to try to save it. Okay, we get our please enter description. Please enter a positive value. Please specify a category. Great. 296. All right, I'd like to finish this even if it runs a little bit longer, but because it's the next page and a half, and then we'll stop and we'll do our last thing, which is creating new products and deleting, and that shouldn't take hopefully very long. So I'm up to page 296. In fact, let's go back to here. Let's go back to our program run. Okay, and let's just stop this, stop this. All right. File, save all, even though I know I've done it. All right, I'm on page 296. You just saw I proved that I've got those working. All right, at present, data validation is applied only when you submit to the server. Most users expect immediate problems. That's why developers often want to perform client-side validation. It's more than they want to, they should. Because right now we are, even though it's a local server on our own machine, when you get out into the quote real world unquote, you never want to be sending things out to the server before they've been, ideally, before they've been verified by the client. The MVC framework can perform client-side validation. This feature is enabled by default but has not been working because I have not added the links to the required JavaScript libraries. Microsoft provides support, etc. So let's follow their steps. The first step is to install this in our NuGet package manager. All right. Put that in. As always, we just added it, whoops, right there. And no errors. All right, that's always good. Oh, that wasn't good. I wanted to put that in there as one line. Boy, I wish I wouldn't have done that, but I did what I did. Minus project name. It might get an error now because it's already here. sportsstore.webui. Or I might, okay. Says it already exists. Not a problem. Great. All right. Don't worry if you say it's already installed. Visual Studio will say, yeah, okay. Next, I need to add script elements to bring the JavaScript files. So we need to go into our admin file and we need to add these. Okay. Now I'm using the ones that are in the book, but that's definitely an older version of jQuery right there. So go into our admin layout. After we have put in, get this out of here, these, then we'll add that. So that's been added. These additions to the layout enable the client-side validation feature, providing feedback to the user about values they are entering before they submit the form. The appearance of error messages to the user is the same because the CSS classes that are used by the server validation are also used by the client side. All right. If for some reason you don't want to validate at the client, you need to add the following as is shown here on page 297. I can't think of a reason you would want to do that unless you're testing and you want to make sure that your server-side validation works. That would make sense. These statements, as it says, disable the validation to the view in which they're added. You can disable client-side validations for the entire app by going in and turning it off inside of your global web.config file. All right, we're up to the last part of the chapter, creating new projects, which is the next three pages, and then deleting, which is the next 4 pages after that. Not sure if I can do it in one lesson or two, but we're going to come back with at least one in just a couple minutes.